It's deep space, and in the dark deepness, there is our ship Avalon. It's Starship Avalon and set for the colony world of Homestead 2. Status is autopilot. It's the crew hibernation chamber. Crew count is 258, passengers count is 5,000. There are space materials in the ship's way. The ship's shield is strong enough to take them. The ship's other area's power is transmitting to the main ship. There's a very huge collision about to happen. The ship interior feels the collision, and several systems are down and are being repaired. One is left unrepaired. It's a pod in the passenger's chamber. The system is waking him up. It's James Preston. System safety wakes him up, and an AI tells him that he has spent 120 years in this pod. It checks his health vitals. There's 4 months to landing on Homestead 2. Till then, he'll enjoy. Lights automatically turn on as he proceeds with the AI's guide. This is home. He's assigned to Group 38 of Engineering. He scans his ID for luggage delivery. He drinks liquid to help wake up completely. He takes a bath, gets an outfit, and is not liking his style. Well, he just wears it and gets out without it. He gets to the common hall. AI attends to all passengers of Group 38 and tells about Earth being not very comforting now. It asks him to ask questions at the end and tells about the colony. AI says there are 5,000 passengers and 258 crew members altogether. He runs out and tries to find someone. He gets to the lift, gravity falls, and he sees space from here. It takes him to the main area. It's the Grand Hall. It's fabulous. Systems start and the guide asks him to tell the help type. It asks him to get to floor 3 to meet the manager. He goes to the control room for the captain, but it's entirely locked and needs special access. His ID is not suitable for access. He gets to the view room and AI asks what he wants to see. He asks if it's just him here and asks about Homestead 2. AI says Homestead 2 is the 4th planet of the Bogti system, and they are 90 years, 3 weeks, and 1 day away from the destination, and it's been 30 years since leaving Earth. He realizes he has woken up very early. He gets to the AI guide and asks for message service. He connects to the Homestead 2 customer helpline and tells about the fault in the sleeping chamber and doesn't know how to sleep back. There are 90 years to go, and until then, he'll be dead, so he needs help. It says the message will reach Earth in 19 years, and the reply will reach in 55 years. It bills him $6,012. He passes through the bar, and the bartender is here. He's glad to see another human. It asks if he'll take whiskey. He moves and gets to know he's an android. His name is Arthur. He knows little much about the ship. He says the sleeping chamber can't be faulted. He asks, it's 90 years to go, and how he's sitting in front of him. Now Arthur gets him. It gets morning, lights are on. He gets to the canteen and chooses cappuccino, but it's only for gold class passengers. French, pumpkin, white chocolate, macchiato, etc. are all premium, and he gets cream and sugar coffee. He enjoys it while checking systems. He takes out the hibernation pod book, uses a vehicle to get to different areas of the ship to collect equipment to fix it. It's fixed. He lies inside, and the glass is locked. Nothing is happening, and he barely survives it. He brings his equipment to the command chamber and tries different ways to open it, but nothing is working. He has got an increased beard. There's appearing in the ship. The elevator is failing, and he knows it. He tells his story to Arthur. He thinks he's gonna die by rotting here. He always keeps cleaning the glass while he's the only one here because the bartender doing nothing scares people. Arthur says, you think you should be somewhere else. Imagine you get there, and you would have been still thinking the same because your mind is stuck at where I've got stuck instead of thinking how to enjoy where he's right now. Stop worrying about what's not in control. He opens a room, gets inside. It's a suite. It's cozy, simple, and lovely. He enjoys sports, solo restaurant with androids, dances with competitors, watches movies, has his coffees. He's drunk so much that the android says, you have already drunk a lot, Lord. He plays basketball like the lazy, eats like the dead, and androids tease him, and he takes care of them. His bed is an eating table. He is short on clothes and mostly drunk. He goes through chambers, throws a bottle, and sees an area ahead. He gets inside. It has spacesuits. AI starts safety guides to use it. He focuses just on the suit, feels its support and presence, takes one, and gets into it. AI guides him to open the airlock door. The safety cable attaches, and he walks outside. It's vast space to infinity, and here he is, a human. He shuts gravity to jump and swims in space. He tries to reach the stars. He's in disappointment. He's lost in this ship. He gets back, airlock closes. AI says, hopefully you'll come back, Jim. He gets to the airlock without a suit and wants to dissolve himself into space. Only the res button is keeping him between here and space vastness. He turns it off and runs back, falls due to stepping on a bottle, just lies down there and cries. He gets up. His eyes catch a human. It's a woman. He gets to the chamber. She's beautiful. Name is Aurora Lane. He calls her name. Searches her in logs. She's passenger 456 and a writer. Her father was Oliver Lane and a science worker. She's living, as her dad used to say, you will have to live adventure to have great stories. He brings his breakfast to her and watches further. Laughs at her and is impressed. Talks about it with Arthur. Tells her about Aurora. He says, space's way to joke is strange. You're flying to a new planet to die in mid, and a spark of hope is traveling with you, but physically isn't with you. He watches her again. She is a coffee lover. He's getting interested in her more and more. Asks Arthur, that being stuck on an island, you have the power to get someone else there, actually to get them stuck as well. Think of it like you can better your life thousands of times by a way, but it's the wrong way and irreversible. He says he knows how to wake up Aurora, but because of him, she will get stuck on the ship for life. Jim says, you're a machine. You have no emotions, can't feel pain because you're not human. He gets to her, distracts himself, restricts to ever talk about her again. He will not think about her at all, will not even think about her name. He says to himself, you can't do it. Cuts his beard, says again, please don't do it. Gets to her with a fresh look and equipment. Stands there, takes equipment and guide and AI holographic support. Opens circuits, replaces a disk and shocks it. It fails, the chamber and waking initiation process start. It opens before his eyes, hastily collects equipment and looks at her while she's up. Opens her eyes, he runs upstairs and into his suite, nervous and guilty as hell. Hides book and can't breathe. Sits on bed and gets himself together. Gets out of suite, takes lift and gets to Grand Hall. She's calling for anyone up. Across falling water, he says hello. She asks about being a passenger, tells her name, and asks what's happening here. The crew was supposed to wake up a month before them. He says it's just you and me, it's just us. He shows her that other passengers will wake up at the time after 89 years. They are early. He shows her the crew room. All controls, reactors, and engines are all behind this door. She takes a look at the mess of equipment and asks how long he's been up. 1 year and 3 weeks. She declines it and runs to go back to sleep. Looks for her chamber. He tries to make her understand. Gets her into hold. Tells her to get someone into sleep. It needs special techniques. There's no way here. She says there must be a way to sleep back. Lights turn blue and dim. It's 9 p.m. and night now. She is tired to open eyes. Jim asks her to have a rest. She says she will go by herself. Says good night to Aurora. She says more than 1 year. I can understand. Good nights him and gets into lift. He gets to Arthur and wants whiskey. Tells him that Aurora is up and wants him to keep it a secret. Arthur says I'm a gentleman as well. Jim says she thinks it was an accident. I'll tell her myself. He says all right and takes bottle. She wakes up in sudden cries and asks AI Guide for a solution. Guide says sleeping chambers are faultless. Jim asks for breakfast, leaves Duffer AI. It turns off due to another critical error. She takes gold class breakfast and his mouth wants it. She says he likes it very simple. He tells her for a year, French bun was all. She brings it for him. He's happy to have it. Dispensary has only a scanner and auto dock. She asks about the warehouse. He had thought the same. It only has agricultural stuff and engineering spare parts. She says you're not even trying. He says I tried to the fullest for a year. She says she can't give up and leave. Gets to dispensary, checks everywhere. Asks Guide for techniques, tries to break door to command room, stops. Sits with knowing there's no way. He sees Android having uncommon errored behavior.